As you may probably have heard already, I love Redstone. And that is no poor statement, nor is it false. I mean, look at this world. It is full of contraptions that, well, some are incomplete, some are not useful at all, some are, well, some don't work. But it is full of contraptions, full of tests that have helped me to learn how to do redstone, and that have helped me to bring all those ideas that I have to life. So, I want to help all those people out there that want to learn how to do redstone by doing this little video with 5 tips on how to become a redstone pro. Not that I am one, but with a little luck, a little bit of practice, I at least have learned a few things I can move throughout the Redstone world, and I can hopefully help you become Redstone pros yourselves. The first tip that I can give you is to think of a Redstone mechanism as a big sum of the little problems that you have to solve. Take for example Ralph. Ralph is my robot dog that I'm building in my Let's Play world. He's going to have a super big redstone brain that is going to be right here, but I cannot build everything at a time because it will require me to be ultra intelligent. Of course, I am not. So, what I decided to do is to split Ralph's brain into an expressions part, an expression mechanism, into the food mechanism, sorry, into the level increasing mechanism, into a clock, the time counter, and into the stats counter mechanism. And that way, I can work on each of them separately without saturating myself, and in the end, I can just join everything together. But let's be honest, a robot pet is a bit advanced for someone just getting started in the redstone world. Though that doesn't mean that this tip isn't useful for a smaller mechanism. Let's look at this 3x3 piston door for instance. It is designed to open and close in a spiral-like fashion, as you can see. And even though when I did it, I actually didn't split the mechanism into parts, in my mind I was thinking, okay, so first we need a system that will retract the middle blocks and then replace them. Then we need one that will do the same for the blocks on the right. Then one that keeps the sequence with the blocks on the top. And finally one for the blocks on the left, which I actually did with the 2 pistons firing at the same time. I know, a bit lazy, but it looks good in the end. So either you physically separate your redstone contraptions into parts, or you do it mentally. It will definitely be helpful for you when designing your redstone contraptions. My next tip is a little bit more difficult to put in practice, as well as a little bit more abstract, but it definitely will help you not when building redstone contraptions, but with coming with ideas on how to build those redstone contraptions. And it is, of course, think of everything, and I mean everything, as a redstone component. Here I laid out some of the blocks that someone would normally think of decoration blocks or with other properties. But of course, a redstone engineer will think of them as redstone components. So first let's start with the lectern. It is a normal block, and if we actually look for book and quill, we can place it in the lectern and it looks cool. You can write things in the book, leave it for other people in a server to read. But when you are a redstoner, you actually can think of a redstone way of doing it. As you can see, with a comparator on its back, it can actually give a signal. And if you had 15 pages, you can get a signal of 15, which is cool because you can actually select a page and select at the same time the amount of redstone signal that you want. Pretty useful, huh? Next component is the barrel. Now the barrel is pretty similar to the lectern in the way that it can be read with a redstone comparator, as you can see. But unlike the lectern, it can actually give uh, another type of signal with items. So we can subtract and add items automatically. The same you can do with hoppers, droppers, dispensers, for example, anything that acts as a container in Minecraft. But the barrel is pretty useful because you not only can store items in it, but you can read the opening and closing of the barrel with an observer. Look at this. You see? You get a signal. It's pretty quick, but if we actually hook it up to a piston, you will see how it spits its block there in the corner of the screen. You saw that? And then it retracts it again. So yeah, pretty versatile block, the barrel. And it looks cool as well. My next block, the slime block. Now normally you would think of it as a bouncy block, right? Bouncy, semi-translucent block. But when you add to it some sticky pistons, some observers, and well, many other things, but like basically sticky pistons and observers, you can actually create pretty cool things with it. Oh, I forgot a slime block. There we go. Like a flying machine, which I now have to stop this way. So it is pretty cool. The same you can do with honey blocks, but not only that, honey blocks actually have a property in which that they are like a little bit smaller than a block. So as you can see, that item is inside the honey block. So you can do pretty cool stuff with that, as well as transport entities because they get stuck in the honey block. Next block is of course the obsidian, an unmovable item, but also unbreakable, which means you can do pretty cool stuff with it in Redstone. For example, stopping flying machines. Next block is actually a pretty invisible one, but as you can see, there is a tripwire there. It may be a little bit difficult to watch on video, but there it is. It's a tripwire, it's a string. One of these that I have in my hand right now. There we go. This string is actually pretty useful to detect stuff like people passing through your door, or entities, or just items even. So yeah, it is pretty useful. You can read it with an observer, or you can hook it up to some tripwire hooks, and yeah, it will give a signal whenever you pass through it. Next block is one that no one ever expects to be used as a redstone component, and it's the wall. And yeah, it's a little bit difficult to think on ways of actually using it as a redstone component, but if you actually place an observer reading into it, you can read when the wall changes its aspect. Let's place a piston over this observer so you can actually observe what I mean. Look at this. Huh? Pretty cool, huh? I've used it in many tree farms to detect when the sapling grows, cause if we actually plant a sapling, let's actually get a log as well. If you plant a sapling right next to the wall, it won't connect, right? But when the sapling grows, it will create a log, which actually connects to the wall and spits a block and creates a signal, of course, a redstone signal. So pretty useful thing. Also, it can stop items from passing over a half block, and you can use it also with some mobs to get them one block higher and stuff. It's pretty useful. You'll see in other tutorials, you can see how I use it. Anyways, the next block is the soul sand, and actually I could say the same of the magma blocks. They're pretty cool blocks. They look quite good in some builds, but also the soul sand and magma blocks, they can create water bubble baiters that are actually pretty useful for redstone. And not only that, but soul sand actually can make entities go slower over it. So also pretty useful for some contraptions. The next block is the packed ice, and the same I could say for the ice and the blue ice. And yeah, they're useful to pass entities or to make items to, slide over them. And also the ice, you can break it and create water sources, which is also pretty useful when building redstone contraptions. Next block is the fence gate. Now again, not a pretty useful block when talking about redstone, but for example, I use it a lot when I want TNT to explode at a certain amount of time. So we turn the TNT into an entity. I won't do it right now because everything will explode, and the entity will get stuck with the fence gate. Once you want the TNT to explode down there, you open the fence gate, the TNT will explode in there. Or you can send a signal and open it or close it. Then a pretty rare one, one that no one would think to be a redstone component, and it really isn't a redstone component, but it can be pretty useful for some things, like for example updating a TNT duper. So if we build a TNT duper really quick right here, let me do this, break the blocks below it, and I place the coral fan right here. You'll see that the TNT, when it updates, it actually creates a duping thing with the TNT. Oh, what did I do? Oh, I didn't break these blocks. There we go. And it dupes it. Pretty cool thing. And final block, it is actually a normal block, a solid block. And yeah, we use solid blocks always for redstone contraptions, like very often, because they can actually pass the signal through to other things. So they're pretty useful. They can also hold redstone torches or be moved around to create other pulses or other cool things. Like for example, a piston door. Now the transparent blocks are pretty useful too because they can make the redstone go up, like I mean sorry, like that, but they can also not make it go down, like you can see. So it's pretty cool for one-way signal systems, and for other systems, like for example, letting the redstone pass through something, like for example this. If we place the solid block, it won't be connected. So yeah, solid blocks and transparent blocks are also very useful for it. And as all these blocks help you think of ways of getting an idea to become alive in Minecraft, it brings me to my next tip, which is to try to build everything that you can come up with. At least try it, right? It doesn't matter if it's useless or if it seems stupid. Like for example, a useless machine. Pretty stupid, but it's fun to do, you know? And you can practice your redstone. Or for example, this bed. I came up with this bed a few months ago, I think. Maybe more than a few. And it seemed pretty useless for me because, yeah, you cannot do anything with it. And what I did was to create a system where you can sleep with it. And yeah, the system is pretty useless because you can actually open a trapdoor, have a bed right here, and you could sleep on it. But it helped me practice a bit my redstone. As you can see, the system is pretty basic, so it's a good way of practicing to come up with ideas and try to build them. And that also brings us to our fourth tip, which is to try to build everything by yourself. As I said, it doesn't matter if it's stupid or useless, just try to build it, right? And do it by yourself. You can watch tutorials on YouTube, you can see what others are building, but once you have a little bit of experience with Redstone, try to come up with your own ideas or to come up with not your own ideas, like you can see them in tutorials or in other people's YouTube channels, but try to build them by yourself. I mean, and well, after that, you can come up with pretty cool things because you're getting experience. You're learning by doing. After a while, you might be able to create stuff like this one, which is useless but fun, and it looks very cool as well. Yeah, not a good not a good useful contraption, it may seem, but it is fun. And that leads me to my final point, which is always remember that redstone might be frustrating sometimes. It might, yeah, get you crazy sometimes, but always keep in mind why you do it. And that is, of course, to have fun. That's right. We play Minecraft to have fun. That includes making redstone. And even though you can get frustrated with very complex systems, just take a deep breath, take a minute to relax, maybe do something with TNT that always gets me very, very relaxed. And remember to always have fun. One last tip before you go. Thanks for staying till this point of the video. And it is to never reject a helping hand. Remember that there's a huge community out there in the internet that can help you with anything that you will need. Of course, there are a few other people that will make your life miserable in internet. Just ignore them. Focus on those who are willing to help you, who are a sane community. And yeah, if you have trouble, don't doubt to looking up for a helping hand. That of course includes me. Don't hesitate if you need help with anything Redstone. I am here. Leave a comment down below. I will reach out to you as soon as I can. And yeah, thank you for watching. Have a great day. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up down below if you really liked the video. And, well, I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye!